Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tech That Doesn't Byte. I am, of course, your host, Simon. Joining me is my co-host, Jeff Weirden.
Hello. How's it going,
Jeff.
buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, yesterday I celebrated 26 years of marital bliss.
Oh,
and
nice.
I have a prepared statement for this. I'm happy and delighted. And I'll never be as happy as I am right now.
Dude, you look like you're like some sort of ransom point right now. You need me to call someone?
No, that's not it at all. That's not it at all. No.
I don't know, man.
I'm completely happy.
That blue curtain right there, man, just making me nervous. I was like, "You're right, man. You help?"
Sure. Yeah, I'm just fine. Send help. No, I'm just fine. Send help.
What's that private chat I see from you?
You're right, guy, help
me. Well, hey, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I thought you were saying you're celebrating your 26th birthday. Like, I don't think so.
Yeah, a couple of times, twice. Turned 26 twice. So. Yeah. Hey, beginning of the year, second time around on 26. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you do the math on that with your, what do they call it? I can't remember the type of math it's called anymore. Yeah,
math.
Okay.
Math. It's called
math.
No,
there was some other name for it. I just like totally drew a blank on it. It's like began with a C, like
Common Core.
Thank you. That's it. Do the Common Core math, you smart guy. See what you got. Yeah. Anyways,
all right. Let's move on to our topics for today.
Rock
we got
on.
Some good news, especially today's Friday. If you are listening, It's July 2nd here in the States. And let's move on to our first story. And Jeff, do you get annoyed with those robocalls?
I could not even begin to express how annoyed I get with them. So much so that, oh God, was it like 6 months ago longer? We finally decided to get rid of our landline because we were getting so many robocalls, so many sales calls. We said, okay, we're done. Cut that out. Now it's all on our cell and we can block them to our heart's content. So that's the good part about that. So yeah, robocalls can die in a nasty fire for all I give a
so
for.
This article from CNET, it's basically titled "Robocalls are out of control," but that could all change today. And this article is written on June 30th, 2021. So technically, something should have happened since yesterday. So,
yesterday, July 1st, right?
So a big deadline in the fight to beat back those annoying robocalls is here. As of today, every major voice provider in the U.S., including phone companies AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, and cable provider Comcast, will need to implement a technology called Stir/Shaken design to curb the tide of spam calls. That's good news for everyone whose phone has been jangling with bogus phone calls involving health-related scams, expiring car warranties, fake bank offerings, non-existent interest rate discounts for credit cards. For years, the scourge of illegal robocalls have plagued the public. It's the number one consumer complaint and a top priority at the FCC. U.S. consumers have received just under 22 billion robocalls in the first 5 months of the year.
Dang.
On pace to hit over 52 billion robocalls for the year, according to Umail, a company that's specializing in blocking robocalls. And basically, robocalls are like kind of like automated dialers, and they have like a pre-recorded message. You pick it up, tell you to do a certain thing that you should probably never do.
No, for
Ever,
sure you
ever
should
do.
not. Absolutely not. We've been trying to reach you about your extended car warranty.
Yeah. And to end those annoying, costly calls, could be on the horizon thanks to this implementation called Stir/Shaken, which will require voice providers to verify where calls are coming from. That's where the
Oh,
FCC's June 30 deadline comes in to help you
oh.
get a handle on that and other efforts to stamp out robocalls. CNET has put together this FAQ. STIR stands for Secure Telephone Identity Revisited, and shaken for signature-based handling of asserted information using tokens. Okay.
Yeah,
Stir is the
sure. Let's go with
technical
that.
Stir is the technical protocol, and Shaken is the framework by which calls can be tracked in the new robocall mitigation database. The way it works is that Stir/Shaken technology ensures that calls traveling through the phone networks have their caller ID signed as legitimate by originating carriers and validated by other carriers before the calls reach you. In short, the technology authenticates phone calls' origins and makes certain the information on the caller ID matches.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it blocks stuff like caller ID spoofing, which basically it's a scam call, but uses like kind of your area code
Right.
and like the first three digit of your number. So you might be
Yeah,
thinking like,
I've
this
gotten a
seems
lot of
legit.
those. I've
Yeah, I
gotten
got
a
a lot
lot
of
of those.
you know. And is spoofing illegal? Yes.
It's a big gray area, it
Yeah.
sounds like, if I had to wager a guess. But yeah, no, God, Jiminy
Yeah.
Christmas.
So what's the June 30 deadline about? The FCC has set a deadline of June 30 for companies that provide phone service to implement this technology. Phone companies will also have to publish robocall prevention strategies in a public database.
Hmm.
And the call verification system that will make it harder for scammers to hide their numbers. The program was created late in 2019 by the Trace Act. The FCC released the standard last year in March, and it is set a set deadline for service provider to comply by end of 2021 of June. So most of the major phone companies such as AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, as well as cable provider Comcast, have said they're implementing Stir/Shaken. Multiple carriers have asked for an extension, but the FCC denied those petitions in March.
Damn right they
It's like,
should.
do your job.
Yeah, I know, right? God. Well, I could go back and forth about that. I'll get to that in a minute there.
Does this mean we'll see a huge drop in robocalls come July 1st?
I doubt it.
That's the hope, but sadly, it probably won't be the reality, this article says. For one thing, some carriers have already been implementing Stir/Shaken, so the deadline won't necessarily mark a hard switch over for most phone companies. It's a technology and framework they've been implementing and deploying for a while. The second reason is that scammers are always coming up with new ways to make illegal robocalls, which is very true. The sad truth is that making these calls is cheap and scamming people is lucrative. The statement by FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr says it ends up being a game of whack-a-mole, which is true.
Yeah, no, it totally is. I agree with that.
Yeah. So basically, we're fighting robocalls.
Yeah. No,
will this help? I don't know, but
I wish I could be optimistic about that. Yeah. Well, it's a start. And given that you said it started around 2019, I did not have a particularly high opinion of the previous FCC chairman, Anjit, whatever his name was, who was who was like the former Verizon CEO or something along those lines.
Yeah, the dude with the big Reese's cup.
Right. Yeah, that clown. Yeah, I have this guy should never have been FCC chairman in my book. I mean, the fact that he was in the pocket of all these big wireless providers, to me, just means that it was going to be status quo, or we'll make it more lucrative for the wireless providers, Verizon, all the other guys. And honestly, I just didn't see anything good coming from him. And the fact that it took till 2019 to settle that, went back in 2016 when he started or thereabouts, around when the Trump administration started, he could have done something. He could have changed his reputation. He could have done a whole bunch of stuff, but frankly did nothing as far as I'm concerned. So this is arguably too little too late, but it's also better late than never. So it kind of falls into both of those categories.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it's just, we'll see how well it works. It's like,
well,
there's always gonna be new ways for these hackers
Yeah,
scammers
no,
to just
I
kind of
agree.
run
I
away.
think you mentioned that a lot of them had already started implementing this stuff in the first place,
Mhm.
which is true. My phone, both my wife and I, or like my family, I should say, belong to Verizon, and we do get the potential spam warning whenever a phone call comes up. And I would say at least 99 times out of 100, it's actually pretty spot on that it's actually a spam call. Once in a while, like, for example, there was like a university that would call me to see if they could actually get a donation from us. And this is my kid's school. So it was
Spam.
actually, we, well, I
In
did
some
block,
ways, it
I
might be
have,
spamming you, but
it's the same phone number. So they weren't spoofing anything.
yeah.
So I could just block the call. But Verizon saw them as potential spam because it was basically was a call center type environment that was making a lot of calls to prospective donors to get money. Not unusual, totally
It
legit as
happens.
far as I'm concerned. Yeah, and it's legit. I am not even faulting the university in the least way about that. They're doing exactly what you would expect a big Pac-10, Pac-12 school to do. But I said block the number, so now they can't reach me, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with it. But
Yeah.
the spoofing thing is a big one because anytime I see basically my prefix
Mhm.
and a random set of numbers, and I know that my older son has a phone number similar to it, it makes me think, wait, is my son calling me? And then I realize, no, wait, I have his name in the contacts. It would come up as my son's name, not this random phone number.
Yeah.
So
But,
block the
a lot of people get tricked by this, especially
yeah,
I think since we're so well tuned with technology,
yeah,
we could kind of prevent that on our own. But,
right,
not everyone is, that,
right. That's savvy
deep
about it.
dive in technology. They
Right.
see a phone number. There's, their first instinct is to pick up the phone,
Right.
regardless if
No,
it
no,
says the
no.
name or not. So,
Right. When you get like a lot of really old people who maybe their kids don't call them very often. Say, "Oh, somebody's calling me. Let me talk with this person."
yeah.
And God knows it's something awful. And
Yeah.
it's
So, I
yeah,
mean, I see those changes. Sometimes, you know, obviously there's like these blocking apps that you can use as well,
yeah,
that you could download. And for the most part, they work as long as they keep updating their database.
right.
But, once in a while, one or two of them might get through it.
Yeah,
So
it's
it
the nature of
happens.
what it is.
Yeah.
Spam filters for email are the exact same way. They find a way around whatever whatever update was made with
Yeah.
the spam blockers, and they still get through. When I was doing the tech support thing, I remember often that usually spam comes in waves.
Mhm.
Is that it's like if there's a new way to get through the filters, they find it and they just push like kind of like a zombie invasion. They push, they get out. No, really, it's awful. You see like these waves of spam hit
Mhm.
multiple servers all across the board, multiple
Yeah.
providers, all that stuff. And and the guys who, and if you're happy to hiring a third person, like I know our web hosting company did, they would have to like study, analyze that, implement it, test it, and all this other jazz, and then they could block it with more effectiveness. But unfortunately, those spam filters, as effective as they are, sometimes block legit emails too.
Yeah.
And boy,
It happens.
I catch all sorts of heck about, why is this in the spam filters? Well, okay, you're letting a machine think for you. That's why it
That's
does
what
that.
happens. Yeah.
So
That's
you
what
need to
happens.
whitelist it. So it's an ongoing battle. So why are you guys any better? I'm like,
I
well,
think
yeah,
really nowadays that, we're so reliant on our cell phones. It's,
yeah,
you know, basically, for me, I don't pick up phone calls that are not in my contacts list. So it's like some
right,
random number. I'm just like, you know what? If it's important, they could just leave a voicemail.
right.
If it's not
Well,
important, then they don't do it. Like,
yeah, well,
what do
no,
you want me to
well,
do? I mean, you
yeah,
don't leave
well,
a voicemail. I don't know who you are. So,
right. Well, it's the opposite for me. As an actor, I need to have my phone available to whomever calls me. So I have to take the call, or I really want to take the call and see if it actually is a legit
well,
person.
I mean, for me, like, again, since we're a little bit tech savvy, I will create a dedicated number for that.
Oh yeah, no, I have a
Yeah.
dedicated contact where I put all my spam numbers that it blocks it. It's great.
No,
So I have like,
I create a separate number, like a total different phone number for that. For like okay, this is I'm gonna use this for this specifically, and anyone that I'm gonna work. Let's say I'm an actor, and like okay, if I have casting calls or anything like that, they'll call this number, and I know exactly, it's for
oh,
casting. I'd
okay,
rather
yeah,
just
that
do that.
works.
It's
That would
like
work.
it's just to a point where like if you have your personal phone number share with everyone, and businesses, because businesses do get hacked and oh,
Oh
steal your
yeah,
number, and then like
oh
okay,
yeah,
here's a spam call. you have to deal with that, every night, every day. They get to call you. It's like, oh, who is this? I don't know. Who are you? Like,
well, that's why I got rid of my landline. I could handle it on my cell phone, but at least I can block the number, so it's no big deal to me.
but
And
you start to if you start to manually do it, it's still kind of annoying.
no, it's annoying. You're right, but I would definitely take that any day over credit card fraud or identity theft, which I've had to deal with on several occasions.
I've done that too.
I've got LifeLock and all that. So I recommend LifeLock. I'll tout it's good stuff. Yeah, I know we're not getting paid for them, but I will tout the goodness of what they are and how helpful they are. So, and lock down your credit agencies too. You should lock those down too.
Yeah.
So that's really about the only advice I can give about that, and hope it works. It usually does. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Just don't pick up any phone calls you don't know.
Don't talk to strangers.
Yeah, exactly. Don't talk to phone strangers. Don't talk to phone strangers.
Yeah, you're listening to your Uncle Jeff here on Tech That Doesn't Byte. Don't talk to strangers.
Uncle or
Except
grandpa?
me. I'm pretty strange. You talk to me.
Uncle or grandpa?
Uncle, grandpa. Yeah, let's go with that. Right. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks
for playing our game. Let's move on
show.
to our next story. And Jeff.
All right.
This story is yours.
Yeah. All right. So you may recall about 2 weeks ago about how I had talked about the original source code for the World Wide Web was going to go up for auction at Sotheby's, right? The proceeds of which was go to various charities chosen by Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the creator, and his wife, Rosemary Leith. Well, you will be delighted to know that the original code sold for, wait for it, $5.4 million US. 5.4, wow. Simon. Yeah, 5.4. So it's quite an amazing piece to be.
All right,
sure.
Who has a time machine? I need to go back and write this.
Right,
code.
I know.
I need to go back to write this code.
Right, knock him off and take it for yourself. Well, he's donating the money, so it's not going to do you any good. But maybe.
Well, anyways, if I go back in time, I could prevent this.
Right.
You see what that means?
Right on. Okay. Well, anyways, it's an amazing piece to be sure. And if you're super bored, you've got like 30 minutes to burn, you can go to the Sotheby's website and actually watch a video of the original code scrolling on a black and white monochrome monitor, right? However, if it was noticed by a member of F-Secure, a security company, that there was an error. Yes, it's true, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not quite what you think it was. All right, so according to the website creator, Mark O'Neill, it seemed that, quote, whoever made the video for the website ran the original text file through something that converted it into HTML, end quote. Now, if you scroll back up to the black and white picture there at the top, go there we go. Okay, now basically what happened here was, and for our non-viewing viewers, listeners here, so if you look at the picture in the article, you'll know that there's an ampersand LT semicolon and there's an ampersand GT semicolon. Now, what those are supposed to be are the actual characters of lesser than and greater than signs. Now, pretty much which are common characters you use when you're programming HTML or in Python or other computing languages. So basically, whatever this guy did, it basically converted those greater than and lesser than sign characters into essentially escape codes, and that's pretty much all that happened here. Now, while the article didn't mention this directly, it is believed that the original code is still intact as it was originally written, and it wasn't overwritten or anything equally horrifying, which would have just been like disastrous in and of itself if you really think about it. Now, the security officer did go on to say, quote, there has already been discussion about whether this would make the NFT, the non-fungible token, more valuable, similar to how a postage stamp that has a misprint error on it. Yeah. So that was actually kind of an interesting thing. So for $5.4 million, the value of it might have gone up because of that. Because all it really is, at least according to Sir Tim, the creator, they're literally just photographs of the original code. I think it's not the actual code itself or something akin to that. And he signs it or whatever it is, and the money obviously goes to whatever charities he and his wife figure out. But yeah, so that was an interesting little bit here that somebody might have really screwed with the original web. It was like, oh my God, no, Jesus, what has he done? So yeah, so luckily that didn't actually, as far as I could tell, that didn't seem to actually happen. It was just the guy ran it through and messed up.
I mean, I still can't believe it sold for that much.
Why wouldn't it? Think of it this way. This is literally the source code that created the internet. All the hyperlinks. I mean, all it is as I understood the article, that it's just a hyperlink from one server to another, and it kind of goes in a chain. That's literally all it is. So the guy created hyperlinks. That's it. And it has evolved.
Why didn't we invent hyperlinks?
I know, right?
I was too young.
Right. Yeah. 1989, I was trying to get through college is what I was doing. I'd imagine you were working your way through high school, I think, or something akin to that, right? Or am I
89?
89. Or do I need to go a little further back with you?
Dude, I was only 3 years old.
In 89? Oh, for criminy sake.
Yeah. How old do you think I am?
Well, I thought you were like pushing your mid 30s there. Oh, which obviously would mean that, yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Obviously, I can't math either. Get me the Common Core stuff. Maybe I'll figure it out better.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on with your math skills, man?
Bam. All right. Never mind me.
Hey, what's 2 plus 2?
Last I checked, it was 5 for really big values of 2. Anyways.
Well, at least you didn't say 22 because you put
right. Well, a lot of people say that too.
22. Oh gosh.
Yes, 2 plus 2 is equal to 5 for really large values of 2. So,
yep.
Yeah. So that was $5.4 million for what basically created the platform that all of us live on. I mean, basically what we have here doing this, this podcast, doing looking at cat videos, looking at anything else that you see that's internet related, all of mankind's knowledge based on that source code, evolved from that source code. Yeah. So pretty wild stuff. So 5.4, yeah, I can see the value in it. It's a lot though. I agree. I'm like, yeah. If I had that kind of money just lying around, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be buying the original source code for the web. No, I would be tempted to. Code, yeah. I would be tempted to, but yeah, no, that's like, crazy.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think maybe I might want to put it into a school or something, kind of burn out our education, that kind of thing. But that's just me.
Let's move on to our next story.
All right.
Our next story, I found this kind of interesting. So this article is from Mac Rumors, and Apple reportedly storing over 8 million terabytes of iCloud data on Google servers. Yeah. I was like, oh, they're using Google Cloud to store their stuff. I did not know that.
No. Yeah. So, well, I wouldn't say that necessarily is a bad thing per se, but go on.
Well, let me read this article. So basically, this article is from Mac Rumors. Apple has dramatically increased the amount of iCloud user data it stores on Google Cloud, according to the Information, which is another source. The report claims Apple now has over 8 million terabytes of data stored on Google servers as of mid-May. Apple was reporting on track to spend around $300 million on Google Cloud storage services this year, which would represent an increase of roughly 50% from all of 2020. Apple is said to be the largest corporate client for Google Cloud, dwarfing other high-profile customers like Spotify. Yeah, so many companies use Google Cloud. Their storage.
If they're the best of the bunch, and for the sheer volume of what you need, Google will probably be the people to handle it.
Yeah. Google Cloud staffers have apparently even given Apple an internal code name that hints at its size as a customer, quoting it as Bigfoot.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Apple relies on a combination of its own data centers and third-party cloud storage services, such as Google Cloud and Amazon Web Services, to store iCloud user data like photos and messages. Apple does not provide third-party cloud storage providers with the keys to decrypt user data stored on their servers, ensuring a strong level of security. The report speculates that Apple's increased use of Google Cloud suggests the company's rising cloud storage requirements have outpaced its ability to develop and operate its own data centers needed to handle the resulting data. Yeah. So,
wow.
I think basically their user base is getting too much to the point where they have to rely on these other services.
Yeah, no, completely. I mean, it almost kind of goes back to my previous article about what the web has evolved to. There's now so much data going for it. And I even talked about it last week or the week before about like how much data is actually stored or data that gets transferred around the web at a given year.
I believe Apple has their own server farm somewhere.
I'd imagine, but I
they
guess
have
it's
their own data center. Yeah,
It may be full.
Yeah, maybe full. So
that's the thing. So why not go with a third party that seems to handle it better or has more space or whatever? Now, I would imagine the cost of it, maybe I would have to guess that the cost of hiring Google to store your data might actually have been cheaper than to make a new server farm. If you want to think of it that way, I bet from a business standpoint, that's probably what it is. I mean, Google's already got the infrastructure, so they expand beyond that. And obviously, Google has gotten to such a point that that's just the way their business model works, that they just make more and more server farms of their own. So why not hire or why not allow for outside parties to come in and feed them money?
Yeah.
And wow, it's cheaper than making a new server farm. You know,
man.
so
what was it? 8 million terabytes.
That definitely goes into the penta category, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look up what
I think
that
so, but that's a lot of data.
It is. I mean, God, I didn't think there were that many cat videos on the internet. That's kind of astonishing, really.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it has to do with iCloud, so a lot of people are probably sharing their cat videos right now to iCloud.
And iCloud cat video,
not just like it's photos and also messages.
Oh yeah,
through iMessage. So that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, literally whatever digital data you deal with, and you got to multiply that by an insane factor of whatever, and all the users, everybody.
No, just long Apple just don't give them the decryption keys, right?
Yeah, please, we appreciate that. Yeah. That'd be great.
Don't
get hacked.
We know Google.
Don't get hacked. Don't get hacked either. That'd be very appreciated.
No, I was just kind of surprised a lot, and then I was kind of a little bit like, oh, so what does this mean for my data?
Well, probably not a whole lot. I mean, Google. I'm not saying that they have, but I'm knock on wood as I say this. They don't usually get hacked that I'm aware of. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I want to be clear about that. Anything can be hacked if somebody's willing and has the willpower.
I just don't want them to know what I'm messaging.
Right? Yeah. Stay out of there. But it any system can be hacked into if you have the time and the resources to do it. That's just fact. Google, generally speaking, doesn't. And I'm not saying that Apple doesn't either or whatnot, but generally speaking, you don't hear about major league hacks that are done on these two guys. Or if they do get hacked, it's probably on such a small scale that there isn't that much in the way of data loss or theft or whatever it is. They still should be a little more open about it, but if they're controlling their narrative about that and they handle it themselves, we're never going to know. That's just a fact.
I agree.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see. But
the more of that story is that's a lot of data.
It is a lot of data.
A lot of data.
Yep. That's a lot of data. A lot of data.
So on to our next article.
All right.
Also Apple related.
God, more Apple stuff. Oh my God.
Well, they're always in the news, man.
Right, but they're also being subletted by Google, so there's something to think about. at least their data is.
So Apple's TV service, which is the Apple TV Plus, their own streaming service, it's basically face their biggest tests after their free trial runs out. Because when they first started introducing Apple TV Plus, they were giving out free trials to a lot of people. And if you bought like a new Apple device, it comes with it for like 1 year free.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Now, starting in July, Apple will no longer provide a free year of the streaming service with purchases. Instead, it will offer 3 months. Okay, so that's not gonna happen anymore. So, So, also in July, the first subscribers to activate Apple's promotional offer will start to be automatically billed for the service after watching its show for nearly 21 months for free. I gotta check my account. I don't want to get billed for it. I gotta check.
Yeah, so, you definitely don't want to keep your credit card with Apple. That's for dang sure. It's God, there was no article I read about that, but go on. It's
you're with that article. It's not just Apple. It could happen to any other app store service.
No, I totally get where you're at. But what I'm just saying is that if you choose to save your credit card data with a provider of some sort, and other people access your account or whatever, you are absolutely opening yourself to unwanted purchases and whatnot. But this is a separate article. I know we want it. I'm not even gonna.
That's a different scenario.
It's a totally different scenario.
It involves a family member doing.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after this. Yeah, we'll chat on it for a bit after this.
We might if we have time.
Yeah, a little bit of time.
So Apple still have a small content library that rivals such as Netflix and Disney. So the training wheels are about to come off for the Apple TV Plus service, the company's streaming video service. It costs $5 per month. It's also bundled with other Apple services like Music, iCloud, and they call it Apple One. It's a basically a bundle package that is $14.95 per month. But a lot of subscribers aren't paying. Apple gave away a huge number of the Apple TV Plus subscriptions to get the service off the ground. Starting in September 2019, anyone who bought an Apple product like an iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple TV, or Apple Watch got 1 year Apple TV Plus for free. During the pandemic, Apple extended the offer twice for people whose trials period were about to expire.
Right.
The majority of Apple TV Plus subscribers are still on the promotional offer, with 62% of current subscribers accessing Apple TV Plus through a promotional package, according to survey data by Moffett Nathanson published in January. Apple hasn't said how many subscribers the service has, but it has sold hundreds of millions of iPhones and other gadgets since late 2019. Now Apple is starting to wean Apple TV Plus subscribers off the free plan. On July 1st, people who buy Apple products will be eligible for only 3 months of the free Apple TV Plus instead of a year, and people who are already cashed on the trial can't get it again. Also, during July, the first subscribers to activate the promotional offer will start to be automatically billed for the service after having access to its shows for nearly 21 months for free. And basically, this creates a huge test for Apple.
It definitely does. It definitely does. I mean, you basically got a service, free for nearly 2 years, pandemic induced.
Yeah. And
it'll be interesting to see people are going to stick with it.
Yeah, if you want to read this article more in detail, it's a CNBC article. So just look for Apple TV's service faces its biggest test as free trial runs out. So I think for me, I only used it once to watch like one show, and that was it. I'm not for me, I don't see Apple as a media company. That's why I just don't care about every time when they announce some sort of a new show on their platform, it's it's just they don't have the big stuff that most consumers want. They don't have stuff like that Netflix has. They don't have stuff that HBO Max has. They don't have stuff that Amazon Prime has. They don't have stuff that even Peacock has. So it's I feel like they're trying to get into TV in a way that it's not very innovative. It's just kind of following along.
Well, yeah, because
it's just you're too late.
No, I get what you're saying, but obviously there's a massive market. This is basically a new market. This whole streaming TV thing is a fairly new market in and of itself, and obviously there's a lot of money to be made in it.
Yeah, it's a new market, but they're late to the market.
Well, and that's arguably true. Yeah. But on top of that, are they providing the sort of content that people want to watch? That's the flip side to it.
I mean, I just speaking from
you're speaking for yourself about that.
I don't.
Right, and no one cares about your opinion, but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, okay.
But
bye everyone, end the podcast.
No, my point being obviously is that it may not be catering to your taste, but whatever Apple does put out, and I don't know what kind of programming they do. I haven't personally looked into it. They maybe there is a market for it. I mean, think of all these Apple people that have had the subscription for the past, basically the past 2 years. Have they found something that they like as their program that they really enjoy, something they can't live without, or programs that they've got really invested in that they don't want to stop watching? Yeah. Those are the people that they're marketing to now, essentially.
Well, time will tell. See how many people
and time will tell. No, that's entirely true. I mean, here's the flip side to this. Disney obviously has been around forever, right? Everybody, for the most part, they love Disney products. If you're into that whole thing, some people really get into Disney. Almost as bad as Apple fanboys. I mean, it's entirely true. There are Disney fanboys, fangirls, whatever.
I know the Disney fans have made a career out of it.
Right. No, exactly.
YouTube channels about it. So.
Right. Yeah. You got content creators that are doing that sort of thing. Just on Disney princesses alone, you got that just Disney princesses alone. And when they announced Disney Plus, how many people do you think signed on so fast that their servers crashed, kind of thinking,
Yeah.
There's such a following. There's no way that Disney can go wrong with it, and they could pull stuff out of the vault.
Well, I can tell you Apple TV Plus did not crash.
Right. I would imagine they did
that's a
not.
bad sign. That's a bad sign.
Right.
That's not a good sign. That's a bad sign.
That's what Apple was shooting for in a manner of speaking. That, okay, well, we have a big following of people. Let's get into this whole streaming thing, make extra money that way. Totally in favor of that. I'm fine with that. I think, and again, I don't know what kind of programming they have. And if they do have, is their programming really good that people want to keep it? Now, you said there was only one show that you wanted to watch. I would put money down that when it's over, that they don't make any more episodes of whatever the show is. You know what? You're probably going to drop them and not even think twice about it. And that's cool. That's how the market works. So for Apple, they would need to make really quality content in an effort to stay profitable on this market segment itself. That's the real trick. And unfortunately, I don't know what they have in terms of their content. So I can't even really speak to the effect of what they, whether their content will actually work, what they have will actually do the trick.
I mean, that kind of really answered, what you said just speaks for itself. Like, you don't even know what content they have. Then that means they're not doing a good job spreading their service, letting people know, hey, this is what we have. Even you don't know. You could probably list content from Netflix because you have Netflix.
Right. There's that. And usually whatever pops up, I've already got my favorite, my list and all this other stuff. So it already knows what I watch. And, and even my wife, she has her own Netflix channel, watches a different set of stuff. And I like some of the stuff that she watches as well. So it's not like, despite our different tastes that Netflix understands us to have, I'll watch her stuff just as sometimes she'll watch mine. So it's just because, we've been together so long, by God, we probably could become a person. One.
I don't know. I just feel like, when it comes to TV stuff, I don't think Apple really does a good job with it.
Right.
It's not innovative. I just don't think
that might well be their downfall.
Yeah, their Apple TV, their actual streaming box, it's okay, but there's like dozens of other streaming boxes that's half the price and does the exact same thing.
Right.
So it's just like I think that's the one area they still haven't figured out how to really change.
Right. Can't. Well, it's already flooded with a lot of programming, a lot of competitors. So yeah, Apple is a bit Johnny come lately to the party, if you will, to a degree. But the only thing that might help them is really quality content. And that's going to be hard.
Big name stuff, and it's hard. You know what they need? What they need to do is the one way they could get more content onto more well-known content onto their platform, not just acquiring rights to this brand new show, revive a canceled show that everyone loves.
Oh, sure. That's
and they'll be like, it's going to Apple. All right, bam.
Right.
Yeah,
no, that's one way.
And especially revive a recently canceled show.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do.
They could pick up the slack of what others might have dropped because the ratings weren't all that great. They could pick that up and just see if they could run further with it, or maybe rework it so that it's better than it was on the previous channel or streaming service or whatever it is. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Netflix has done that quite often.
Absolutely. So yeah, there's some opportunity that Apple can jump onto if they're quick enough about it. But I think your observation that they're very Johnny come lately to the whole thing, I'm inclined to agree with you. It would be very hard for them to kind of weasel their way in or muscle their way into a very flooded market, frankly.
Yeah. Look at it this way. Okay, Apple TV Plus is $5 per month.
Okay.
And from after seeing what their category is, it deserves $5 at most. That's it.
Well, okay. All right.
No, but you look at HBO Max, look at their premium quality stuff, and they are by far one of the most expensive streaming service out there. $14.99.
Right. But they've been around forever. They always put out movies.
But they have great content.
Right.
Which is better than, I would rather, pay $14.99 a month for HBO Max than spend $5 on Apple TV Plus.
Right. Well, and that's a big one.
Makes sense.
Well, and I think that you've pretty much kind of hit the nail on the head. Apple TV needs better content, and they definitely need to be advertising that content too. And that's probably the big one, because I don't see a lot of ads necessarily for Apple TV. I think I do see it for the TV product itself, but not so much what their content is.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big one.
I think they need to rename their streaming service.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's like, when they say Apple TV, like, oh, okay, they're, people might think, oh, they're talking about Apple TV's box. Like, no, we also have a streaming service too.
Right.
Oh, okay, maybe like rename it as something else.
Yeah,
It
maybe.
just doesn't make sense.
Maybe. Apple streams. Apple juice. It streams.
No.
Whatever.
something else.
Yeah, Jeff.
So apple juice.
Well, it streams. And I'm just gonna stop there. I'm just gonna get myself in trouble.
Apple movies or something.
Apple movies. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Apple content. Apple whatever. Yeah.
Apple Plus. No,
Apple Plus. Well, no. Well, no. Plus is actually used by a lot, so that's probably open game. I'll give it that. Yeah,
it's like, so just rename it something else. But
yeah,
it's just like, I don't know, Apple. Like, none of your content just interests me.
Yeah,
I just don't care for it.
Right. Well, see, you might be in a minority of one on that one, or in a very small minority versus people who go, "Oh my God, it's Apple content." I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they put out there that would even. You know what? Maybe after this show, I'll probably take a look just to see what they actually have, and then I'll come back and go, "Yeah, you know what? You're right, Simon. It's all garbage. It's nothing."
I'm not saying all of them are garbage. It's like they're probably really good shows. It's just that it just doesn't entice me to hit the subscribe button.
Right.
To pay $5 a month for something that it's like, I don't care for it. So
yeah, no, we all have our tastes, or different tastes, opinions, and differences.
You got to prioritize which streaming service you're gonna use.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. True.
Good luck, Apple TV Plus. Hopefully you guys can gain some more traction in a very competitive market.
Yes, that is true. Good luck and Godspeed and stuff.
And I can bet you YouTube is doing way better than you guys are.
That'd be saying a lot. That'd be saying a lot.
All right. So our final story.
All right.
Is about, speaking of a company that does streaming service, Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. So let's say so imagine you're a supplier of something that Amazon sells all the time, be it like widgets or whoopee cushions, your mom, so on. Right.
What?
And I'm sorry. Did I say something? What? Anyways, so as they approach you, saying they want you to be a supplier of said goods, especially your mom, right? So think about this for a minute. So Amazon, with the extremely high volume at which they sell merchandise, you'd be an idiot not to do business with them, right? I mean, think about that. I mean, the sheer magnitude of money you'd make from Amazon and their channels would be insane. I mean, whatever you're selling, there's no way you couldn't possibly make money on this. You'd be able to expand your business. You'd be able to hire more people and really kind of start raking in the money, right? Well, it appears that when you enter into an agreement with Amazon, a major contract stipulation is that you allow them to buy up to 30% of your company, okay? And at a fixed rate, and often below the market value of your stock. Okay. Now, Amazon apparently has done this sort of practice for some time, especially with aircraft, Amazon Fresh Groceries, and call center services. They have done this more than 75 times in over the last 10 years. And the potential equity in all of these deals has rounded out to nearly $3 billion. Okay. So now apparently this sort of thing, what they do is actually not that uncommon a practice. Obviously, with the scale that Amazon has done this, it's pretty amazing. Now, this type of deal that is actually referred to as a warrant, and they're akin to behaving like the stock options that you give to your employees in lieu of offering them a Christmas bonus. The process is that they make the deal with the company at a set price before the deal is announced to the public. Once it's public, the stock price shoots through the roof. Amazon can sell it right then and there or wait a bit over the long term, making a sizable profit in both cases. Usually one stipulation, kind of a back or an alternate or counter stipulation, is that a certain amount of business must happen first before the stock can be sold. So if you say, hey, I only make 100,000 widgets a year, if you want to buy into my company, then I need to make sure I sell at least 10 million widgets before you can sell off your stock. And they go, oh yeah, sure, no problem, yada yada. Our channels will totally make that easy for you. Boom, and it's all done. And that's all well and good. So here's a real quick example about this. So back in 2019, Amazon was trying to build out its logistics fleet with cargo planes, and it was negotiating with Atlas Air Worldwide Holdings Incorporated for a 10-year lease. All right. part of the agreement, part of the agreement Amazon proposed was the ability to buy 20% of the company over 5 years with a potential 10% more equity later on. So Atlas agreed to it, with Amazon's fixed price of the stock being set for $37.50. When the deal was announced, the stock rose 27%. That put it at 47.625 cents a share. All right. So that's a big jump. So rounding it, we'll say nearly $48, $47.50 here. Amazon later on sold 9% of its stake in the company, pocketing the difference of about just over $10 a share after that announcement. At that time, the warrant was for a total of 6.6 million shares. All right. And as of yesterday, the share price is now $68.36 a share. So if they already sold about 9 to 10% of it, so you're looking at about 6 million shares that they might have. This is back in 2019. So somewhere within this two-year period, there might have been some stock splits, a whole bunch of other stuff. The stock price obviously went up. So it went from $37.50, now it's at $68. So it nearly doubled in value in a matter of 2 years. All right. So think about how much money all that is. Now, you would think that this is a good deal for both sides, right? Amazon, gets a bunch of money. They put in a little money to this, and they got to sell it off. All the stockholders make big paydays, and hey, you're an Amazon supplier, so you'll be making more money that way too, right? Well, Amazon reportedly uses strong arm tactics with these companies to get them to agree to these otherwise unheard of terms, relying on its enormous buying capacity and clout among its investors. Now, one source that was involved with the aforementioned Atlas deal said, quote, there was definitely a sense of that if it wasn't agreed to, that there wouldn't be a deal, end quote. So, yeah. Amazon obviously using its massive buying power, its massive assets to get what it wants, which is not necessarily a bad thing. That is part of the nature of business. But with the sheer level of money that Amazon has, its sheer wealth, and I didn't even look up what its current net worth was worth, but obviously you're looking in the near $1 trillion, easy. That's an awful lot of power it's got, Yeah, it was really something else. I'm like, oh,
I mean, there's always a cost to do business with these big companies.
Oh yeah, no, there totally is. There totally is.
Read the fine print.
Well, they did read the fine print. They wound up having to agree to it anyways because they wanted to do business with Apple or with Amazon, excuse me.
Yeah,
and that's part of an issue.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough too.
Yeah, no, it's. Yeah, so it kind of makes you wonder if people are aware of this. Well, yeah, I'm not going to give you 30% of my company. That's insane. I built it from the ground up, or But if it's like a bigger company, like you say, like either Apple or even like a smaller company that's been around for a while, say like any of the like Hughes Aircraft, for example, Northrop, or any of those guys, would they want to give up 30% just so they can do business with Apple? Maybe, but
Amazon.
Or even Amazon, or with Amazon, excuse me. Yeah, I keep saying Apple. Amazon. Arguably, Apple would be in the same category too, just because they're worth about $2 trillion anyway. So, God knows they've got more than enough money to fool around with. So, yeah, it's not a bad idea for Amazon to provide that much money and business to other businesses and whatnot. But what I can usually see happening is that obviously these other businesses would be like, oh, we're going to make so much money from Amazon, yada, yada. They think more in the short term, but in the long term, it makes them so dependent on Amazon that if Amazon were to suddenly pull out for whatever reason, break the contract, all this other jazz, boom, that's 30% of the company's equity. Bam, it just disappears.
Yeah.
And they get screwed hard. So it'd be my advice that if you're gonna go into business with Amazon, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. Dot your I's, cross your T's.
Tread carefully,
and make sure you're not wholly dependent on them. That if they pulled out, you'd be able to recover and actually keep a good vast sum of your money, so that you'll be able to either buy back your own stock or make sure you have enough liquid assets available to, or diversification or whatever, that if they pulled out, you're not going to fall in the river and drown basically. So yeah. So you want to do business with Amazon? I know I do.
Nope.
Nope.
Well, and technically, we are doing business with Amazon. We buy stuff from Amazon, then we are doing business.
We
with
do have
Amazon.
we do have our affiliate
Yeah.
links, so we're definitely getting just that much money from them.
Yeah.
And we encourage people to go and visit our Amazon affiliate links.
Well,
so
I mean, look,
if
you have a Prime account, then you're doing business with them.
Well, that's true.
It doesn't matter.
That's true. That is true. And
buy anything from Amazon, you're doing business.
Well, we as consumers, that's one thing, but you're being a supplier, that's a different category. That's different. There's nothing wrong with doing business with Amazon. You're just consuming their products. But if you're being a supplier, parts, bits, whatever, raw materials, whatever it might be, that's where it gets sticky for you. So you got to be careful about that. That's it.
All right. Well, that ends this week's show.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Well, we want to thank everybody watching and listening. Really appreciate that you guys have been you're watching our stream, and after it's aired, watching the recording, listening to our podcast. And please make sure to like this video if you do like it. Hit that thumbs up. Don't forget, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell notification, and we're gonna have more videos coming up. And our AirTag review, we're still working on the editing part of it. We're not done with it.
Yeah. We're trying really hard. We promise. We're gonna get there. And then of course they'll do those firmware updates, and then that's really gonna hose us.
I give up.
Sort of.
I gave up. I gave up on hoping for it. And
we'll get to that event. That'll be part 2 or part 3 or whatever it comes out to.
Part 2 will be next year, because that's
right next year.
Probably take.
Exactly.
So I gave up on that. But
look, they finally updated.
We're still working on it. So soon.
Soon, very, very soon. We promise for sure.
And
we promise for sure.
Please, check us out on your favorite podcasting app, like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform that you use.
And definitely come and visit us on our website, TechThatDoesn'tByte.com. You can learn all about us, see links to all of our podcasts, as well as to all the product reviews that we do. And if you're interested in having us review your products, definitely give us a jingle, give us a contact form. We'd be happy to work with you.
Yep. But until next time, we're going to see you in the next week.
See you next week. Right. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.